What's going on, everybody? It is I, your boy Gilbert.
Me, Peaky.
And no Harrison, because he ghosted us this week because he's just he wanted to be. I don't know. I had no joke for that. He's just not here. But yeah, we're gonna be happy mid Star Wars month, everybody, because I know it's we got a bunch of Star Wars holidays. What is it? 501st Day. We did May 4th a couple weeks ago. There was, what was it? There's Empire Day, whatever the hell that is, on May 20th.
Yeah.
Help me out, Peaky.
Mate, I don't know because there's so many days. All right, leave me alone.
Yeah, then there's May the 4th, Revenge of the 5th, and then there's this day, which is what's it? A Phantom Menace anniversary day, which is the 25th. It is 25 years old. It can almost rent a car. Like,
it's old enough to drink in both my country and your country.
Yep, dude, it's been old enough to drink in your country for like 6 years now, or no, 7 years now.
Yeah.
So it's like nobody gives a fuck about in your country. Yeah, but it's still at this point it's been getting drunk in my country for like the same amount of time, but just not legally.
Yeah. That's nuts how this film is 25 years old. I can remember like going to like wherever I bought it on VHS on the day it came out.
You remember having it on VHS, you old motherfucker.
I know.
Like, that is an old-fashioned statement.
Because there's the prequel trilogy, their cases were like gold.
Yeah, no.
Kind of like the DVD, so kind of like what some of the DVD cases are. They were like gold on the plastic.
I also remember when they released them, like the VHSs, in like a box set of 3 of them, and they had like it was like Star Wars Episode 1, 2, or 3, and it had like a face below it of someone in the movie, and it's like, yeah, nah, dude, old people. But yeah, so in case you couldn't tell by the TV screen right here, by the name of the channel or of the video today, we are going to be doing it again. We're doing another watch party.
Oh shit! Here we go again.
Oh shit! Here we go again. Yeah. So I think I don't know. We want to. What's it? Shit. You want to stall for like 5 more minutes, or for like 2 more minutes, so people can get into the chat and also get ready, get their Disney Plus all started up, or you want to just get it right into it, Peaky? Because we got a 2-hour movie ahead of us.
Yeah, it's like 2 hours and 17 minutes, so I'm more or less ready.
All right, let's get it started then. Then you know what? We've given you enough time. So in 5, 4, 3, 2, press play.
You don't want to press play.
Well, then you're not going to be you're going to be lagging behind everybody else watching the movie.
I was ahead of you on A New Hope. I don't know how I was ahead of you, but I was ahead of you.
Maybe you were watching a different version. I don't know.
No, I was watching the Disney Plus version.
Okay, then all right, never mind then. A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away. Look at Peaky. Look at him. That's his O face. It's his Star Wars O face.
It's going Super Saiyan, isn't it, to Star Wars?
Yeah, I'm not gonna scream into my mic because I don't want to blast out my mic, the microphone. But yeah. No, that. It's over 9,000. You know what's funny is that there actually is kind of a Dragon Ball Z reference in here. It's like the readings are off the charts. Over 20,000 master. It's over 20,000.
Oh, it's that when he's talking about the midichlorian count and Anakin.
Yeah. The good old M count, as it's called now, because no one likes to say the word midichlorian. That's like that's like the N word for Star Wars fans. Oh damn, that's actually not bad. I'm gonna write that down. That might be a good bit to use.
M count is the N word for Star Wars fans.
Yeah, midichlorian is the N word for Star Wars fans.
Should rename the podcast to that.
I should put that. Yeah, I should totally put that in the description. It's like midichlorian.
I got how tickled you are by that.
That because it's so fucking accurate.
Also, what is with this ship? Well, what is this ship they're flying in on? Because it's not a standard Jedi traveler ship, is it?
I think that they were supposed to be going incognito. Like they're not supposed to be known as Jedi because like that's why they even say the ambassadors for the Supreme Chant. Like this is a Republic, like a Senate ship. Okay, yeah. Which is like, dude, do you guys not have like a formal military or something like that? Why?
No, not yet. They actually that comes in.
I know that's the next fucking movie. I know most people just use battle droids for some reason. I'm like, dude, seriously. It's like, why do you guys not have like
clones will never revolt.
Clones will never kill all the Jedi and turn us into a Nazi state or a Nazi galaxy. Shit.
It's a protocol droid.
Okay, but this kind of shit. How do you know that? How do you not know they're Jedi like right away? Because they're wearing fucking cloaks. They're wearing big ass hoods. Like they very cloaks, clearly are Jedi.
Right. And you can see the robes underneath Qui-Gon's.
Like, and you see it later when Anakin sees his lightsaber. He's not very good about hiding his lightsaber. So I'm like, dude, come on. Oh my dude, I remember when I was a kid watching this, my dad was all giddy. He's like, "Oh shit, it's Obi-Wan! Look at that!" He's like, "It's a young Obi-Wan!" Like he was all excited about it.
Young Ewan McGregor, right there. Wasn't this one of Ewan McGregor's first roles?
Not his first, but it was a major role for him. And
I was gonna say it's his first major role.
Yeah,
that's a bit Orlando Bloom, like his more or less his very first big role was Legolas.
Yeah, or I would say like the Pirates of the Caribbean, maybe.
No, it was Legolas. Legolas came before Pirates. Before then, he appeared in an episode of a very popular show over here in the UK called Midsummer Murders. It's like a cop show that's solving murders in a village. Orlando Bloom was in a very, very early episode of that. Before Lord of the Rings.
The more you know. Fucking peaky nerd. Oh man. Okay. So yeah, I never understood what this plan was. Like they're blockading the Naboo for reason. I'm sure all of this is explained in some book that I didn't read.
Well, isn't it because of Naboo's core is the energy plasma? Isn't it? Surely, I think it's because of that, isn't it?
Something like that. Like there's some kind of trade dispute. They see that's the problem. They never actually explain. Like just like, oh well, we have a trade dispute with the Trade Federation, but they never explain what it is.
This is. I feel like this is all part of like Palp's plan. Is that like surely like he's not going to attack his own?
Oh shit!
His own planet.
My bad, guys. I clicked on the screen, so I paused for a second. So now I'm behind on you, Peaky. It's at 4:58, 59, 5 minutes. So if you want to resync with me, if not, then big deal. Or you could just look at the screen and see where we're at. But yeah, either way.
I saw this movie a couple of weeks ago, so
we know. Yeah, a few seconds behind is not a big deal.
Yeah.
They go over this a good amount in the book Darth Plagueis.
I do like how that ship is piloted. The captain is a kid. The captain is a child.
But also, so Daniel Worrell says they go over a good amount in the book. You'll be surprised to know that even though we have a Darth Plagueis audiobook on here, I have never actually read nor listened to that audiobook. It's just,
Poor Harrison. His companion on the channel hasn't even listened to his book.
Okay, you know what? First of all, it's not his book. I forget who wrote it, but it's not his. Second of all, you know how many people have 123,000 viewers have watched that thing? I don't think his Harrison needs my help.
Okay, that's fair.
It was what brought me to the channel and loved it. Then I'll have to listen to it and listen to why this plan is not the dumbest thing that George Lucas has ever written. I do like this though. This is pretty bitchin'.
Who are these aliens again? What species are they?
Shit. They are. Give me a minute. Let me Google it. Trade Federation species. They are Nemoidians.
Okay.
They're also known as racial stereotypes. They are still coming true. This is impossible. Impossible. They are very clearly Asian like stereotypes. They Nemoidian, yes, okay. Nemes. I should remember that because they are involved in the book that I'm reading.
Fucking love Droidicas. So I don't know if you ever played this on the PlayStation 1. The Droidicas were the worst things in that game.
I did not play this one. I did play Battlefront 2, though, the original Battlefront 2, and that game was hard as shit, especially when the Droidicas showed up. I hated the Droidicas. Also, Republic Commando games. Droidicas are a pain in the ass. The Darth Plagueis book is amazing. I recommend you read/listen to it. And it's right here on my channel, too, so I absolutely could. At that point, it's just my own damn fault for being lazy.
Sums you up in a massive way, really, doesn't it?
America. Oh, say, can you see? No, I'm kidding.
I'm out. I quit.
Fucking get out of here, then. Get out. No one wanted to hear no. Yeah. No, I'm kidding.
That makes me quit.
Yeah, I know. Of all things that could make you quit.
Yeah, it's that. If that's not Queen Amidala, though, that's a handmaiden.
Yeah, no, that is in fact Sabe, and she is just dressed up. And Keira Knightley, by the way, which another super young Keira Knightley.
Was it? It was so one who actually plays Padme. She was in school. She was still in school while she was filming this.
Yeah, Natalie Portman. She was 14 at this time.
Yeah. So could you imagine going to school the next day after this comes out?
Dude, imagine being in high school and everyone is like, dude, you're the fucking queen. You're like the Queen Amidala. Holy shit.
You're Padme?
Yeah, no. I mean, no, that said, there could be a double-edged sword to that because I remember apparently that's why Jake Lloyd quit school, or quit, not school, but he quit being an actor, is because people in school would be like, my dad says you suck. He's like, dude, I don't even.
For it, but like, I genuinely feel sorry for child actors because the hate and the treatment that they get is.
Also, if you watch that Quiet on Set documentary, I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. The Nickelodeon documentary. It's some bad shit.
Yeah, I know of it, but I haven't watched it.
Don't watch it. It's not worth it.
I love him. I love like the head of security.
Okay, so another question. Why the fuck he says, our security volunteers. Why the fuck she's the queen. Why the hell does she not have conscripts like in a formalized army protecting her? I'm sorry, but you know what? Come on.
Because let's be honest, like the planet isn't known for getting attacked a lot, so
yeah, no, they're a bunch of artisans, pussies.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that's what I said, pussies. I'm kidding, but no, I know the lore is that they're artisans and they're like their weapon, even like their weapons, their ships, like all their stuff is more meant for like artistic or like aesthetic value than it is like actual combat. But it's like that's such a back-asswards way to do this. See, I remember playing episode 1 game on PS2, and it was such a pain for the first several levels, and rolling droids were such a pain to beat. It says the army was newer at the time.
The fighters maybe,
Fighters were maybe 15 years in service by this point.
It was when you first get to Tatooine, and you're putting as Qui-Gon, and you're exploring Tatooine. There's a way for you to get underground and you can fall into a Rancor pit. That was the hardest thing ever.
Oh, shit.
Falling into a Rancor pit, it was difficult as fuck.
When you find out that the Queen of Naboo is actually a fucking sociopath. Here comes Darth Jar Jar. Yep. There he is.
Misa Jar Jar Binks.
Wait.
The ability to speak does not make you intelligent.
Poor Abed Best. Poor fucking Abed Best. Motherfucker, he had no, like, George Lucas was telling him, be like, oh, Misa, Yusa, yes, Misa. Like, come on, man. And he got so much crap for it. Although he comes back in Mandalorian. He gets to come back in Mandalorian as
Have you heard what he wants to do as a Star Wars film?
No, what does he want to do?
He wants to do a John Wick style film where it's just him getting hunted down by stormtroopers and he's just taking them out.
I'm kind of down with that.
Yeah, right.
Here, hang on, let me see. Abed Best Jedi, because there's actually a thing like so they started it off with that bullshit like game show, and then they had it in like actually be in the let me see, he's what is he called? Kelleran Beck. Kelleran Beck, otherwise known as he's known as like the Blade, or like he's known as like as being a really good fucking like lightsaber user apparently. So I'm like, I'm down for it. Let's do it. Yeah, let him redeem himself from this nonsense.
I think he redeemed himself with Mandalorian. I'm not gonna lie.
Agreed.
He wasn't in it. He wasn't in it for long, but he took down those troopers and saved Grogu.
Okay, well, I have to hang on for a second because we got Harry joined.
Hey, did not see the whole thing about starting earlier, so I am late.
I am so sorry, Harrison.
No, it's not your bad. I was not paying attention to the Discord.
Well, yeah, so yeah, if you want to jump in with us, we're at 13:30 at this point, a little over. But yeah, so like you can see where we're at on the screen. But yeah, at any rate, welcome in, Harrison. We're glad to have you back. Peaky, where the hell did you go?
I'm still here.
You're sitting there smoking. You fucking. I'm kidding.
Possibly.
Fucking black lung motherfucker. I have never. Shame on you, Peaky. I'm kidding. Shame on you putting that shit in your lungs.
I'm there giving you the evils and your head just ducked down.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. I just come back up. It's like, shame on. So I was watching this earlier to prepare for watching. Oh, and then Harrison too. Shame on him. All of us. But yeah, no. I was watching this earlier and I just thought to myself, that's police brutality right there. He just got taken. Because he's black. It's because he's black, isn't it?
I don't know. Are there black and white Gungans?
I'm joking about the fact that Abed Best is actually a black guy. But yeah, no, I'm just like, that's police brutality. Is it because he's black? Oh yeah, no, I had a funny. I think you missed it, but I had a funny thing earlier about how we joked about the midichlorian count and how I'm like midichlorian count. So they now call it the M count in this new shows. Like in the Bad Batch, they call it M count, and it hit me. Midichlorian is like the N word for Star Wars fans. Because if you say it, they lose their fucking mind.
I tell you what, this guy was laughing so hard at his own statement.
I thought it was so great. That is a great joke. I'm sorry, I stand by that joke.
It looked like he was in tears of laughter.
I enjoyed that.
I've met him. I've met Boss Nass.
Oh yeah. Is he nice? Oh. Or how is he, Peaky? I don't know. I can't see your face. You're like a sphinx. Can't read your fucking expression. There you go.
He's really nice guy. Really nice guy. Mr. Brian Blessed.
Very nice. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Pete. Harrison, were you gonna say something?
So yeah, because I've just joined in, so I'm just these are like my first little looks at the movie now, and there's a lot of stuff with the prequels and lots of discussion to be had, but I will give it to them for 1999. Goddamn, these are some good CGI effects.
Oh yeah.
Like the CGI holds up pretty well. It's just the dialogue is bad.
You can tell it was made in the 90s with the dialogue.
I don't think it was it being made in the 90s that made it bad. I think it was George Lucas who made it bad.
Yeah, no. George Lucas, like, he gets a lot of credit for that first Star Wars movie and for like Return of the Jedi, but it's like, dude, I don't know, man. He was not a good writer.
What was that line that Mark Hamill said he had to take out? It's like when they're approaching the Death Star or something, and when they first see it, and Han goes like, "Oh, we should get out of here," and Luke has some sort of line that's like, "No, we can't leave now. Fear is their greatest weapon. They're expecting us to not leave." And it's a huge, long speech. It's like, yeah, that was terrible dialogue, George.
Yeah, there's a reason that. No, it's not good. It's not good. I kind of like the different, like the one thing that you can say good about this movie is that it gives you like a varying like design, like aesthetics for the different, for the Gungans and for the the Nabooians or whatever the hell they're called. Like that's a cool little like weird ship that they got going on. Like when you see the Naboo's ships, like how they're all like shiny and all like sleek. It's just kind of cool to see this world building, you know.
There's always a bigger fish.
Also, that too is another thing that Star Wars just kind of made normalized, is that having like horrifying, like literally this would be a horror movie in a different circumstance, but this is just normal for them.
It has feelings of the asteroid sequence from Empire.
Kinda, yeah. Like same thing. Like they're a big fucking sea monster that in another movie would be like destroying Japan comes up. Like, and they're just like, oh yeah, no, there's always a bigger fish. It's like, what?
There's always a bigger fish. Thank you, Chris.
But yeah, in the asteroid, they have a giant space worm almost eat them. They're just like, oh yeah, no, business as usual. It's a normal Tuesday.
I am sad that I missed the sequence of the opening with my favorite droids, but I will get past.
They show up later, I believe. The droidicas do come around.
Yeah, they are back in it.
They're mostly featured at the beginning, where the droidicas show up, and it's like, yeah, destroyers,
master destroyers. Yeah, no, that is pretty cool though. It shows that like, you know, there were some droids that even the Jedi were like, well, we can't really do anything against them. Like we can block all day long, but it's not going to do anything.
Yeah, in like the video games, if you block and deflect their shots back at them for a little bit long enough, it destroys their shield.
I mean, in this one, it just made it seem like it's a standoff. Let's go. Like it seemed like it was just going to go on forever.
Yeah. Also, this is the first and like last time they use force speed.
Yeah, no, that's true. They use force speed. Let me see. They also use force breath.
Never touched again.
Like they when they fill the room with gas, he's like, "Oh, dioxis gas," and they hold their breath. And so I'm assuming that's using force breathing. I think something that they put in KOTOR 2.
Oh yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah, it's like because you go into a bar that's like it's poisonous gas, so it's like, oh, how am I going to get in there? Well, hold your breath.
I'll give it to them for not really going back to force speed, because even in shows where being fast is the whole thing, it's difficult to make going really fast look good on camera sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, like it's very easy to end up just looking like the hill running sequence from Twilight.
Yeah, no.
Oh, look, it's Godzilla.
And it was too early at the time for them to do be able to do the time in a bottle scene from X-Men.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have made sense in here anyway. It's like, wait, like that guy doesn't exist in the Star Wars universe.
And the Flash just looks bad anyway.
True. Seriously, guys.
Run,
a formalized
Barry, run.
army. A formalized army could stop all of this, but no. Just gonna have to have security volunteers because we're artisans, and this is like a bunch of hippies on this planet with a queen. After the Disney trilogy, can we say Fulcrum Reviewing Episode 1 is sadly one of the better movies now?
It always was one of the better movies.
I mean, it has some of the cooler stuff. It has the pod race scene. It has Darth Maul. And I mean, it has Qui-Gon was always really fun. Everyone liked Qui-Gon and Ewan McGregor.
I like Qui-Gon.
Yeah, it's just like I think the prequels for me always kind of lacked like the strong characters that the original trilogy had. Like, there's loads of lore, and I think people love the lore and like what the story does. But I think like just as an individual like movie watching experience, I feel like it's very hard to engage with these characters like you could with Luke, Leia, and Han. Partly because sometimes the dialogue and so yeah, I can engage with all of those droids. Or like I'm kind of slightly on the side of the droids because sometimes I'm like, I just want them to win, just once. Like just give one of these little battle droids a win.
Yeah, I mean
watch Clone Wars. It happens. Doesn't it happen a few times in Clone Wars?
Sometimes, yeah, when they get like overwhelmed for the story, so like we can have like a heroic death of one of the clones or something like that. But and like even here, like the Queen and her people, like they do seem intimidating until the Jedi show up. Like now. But that's kind of like the thing is in Clone Wars, that's when they really started becoming a joke. Is like, no, I just got this promotion. Oh no. And then they get thrown off the fucking cliff. It's like, so yeah, I'm like, I feel like Dave Filoni was just like, fuck these droids. Oh god.
I always thought the Naboo guards, I quite like their designs. Like when I was a kid, they were one of the more interesting designs. I like this sort of weird kind of leather they've got going on. The hats, maybe not so much. And I had I had like a water gun toy of their guns.
Yeah, I had that. I had that as well.
I had a model of one of those little like fighter droids, or not fighter ships. The yellow ones.
The toy line for Phantom Menace was just amazing.
That's part of why he made Phantom Menace. It was like, hey, how can I sell more toys to kids?
I had it was like a bust of Jar Jar. When you pushed the button, it danced. It was like the Cantina song in the like playing as well. It's just like he was like mechanized dancing.
It's like that's fun, but at the same time, Jar Jar was never he was never in the Cantina.
The Star Wars push pops, but like with Jar Jar's, it was his tongue. So when you pushed the thing on the front, his tongue came out.
I do remember that. Yes,
I remember it, but I never had one. That was disgusting. You're asking me to French Jar Jar Binks.
And Darth Maul's was his lightsaber, and
I remember that like KFC were doing like the cups at the time, like this little Jar Jar head on top of it.
I remember Pepsi had all the different cans that would like it had like Anakin Skywalker and like facts about them on the side.
Oh,
I had
Sorry, you're the right age for this. Do you remember when Walkers had the Star Wars Tazos inside them?
Yes.
Yeah, my boy. Somewhere there is a completed book of one of those, like in my brother's house, I think. Yeah.
Someone out there has like every single.
Tazos.
Tazos. Here, let me see.
They were kind of like
I had the
worse Pogs.
Yeah.
If you remember Pogs.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember Pogs, but Tazos, like, I don't think we ever had anything like that. No.
They like clicked together for some reason. You could like.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, no, we definitely didn't have Tazos. And if we did, they didn't last very long.
The the N1 Starfighters.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anybody else did, but I had the electronic one. It was like massive. It was quite big for a kid. It came with a little like 6-inch Anakin that you put into the cockpit, and like you press buttons and it would like fire lasers, or one button would like do voice lines from the film and stuff like that. I had that.
Yeah. Didn't have one of those. I had Anakin's pod. For the pod racing, I had that. It didn't stay intact for very long.
No,
but I had that, and it like for a long time, all I had was like it became individual bits, and then at some point I lost the engines, so I just had like the little chariot bit.
I think as a kid, those pod racers just kept like pieces kept going missing from them like all the time.
Yeah, it's going to happen. It's like how I loved my X-wing, but the little cannons on the X-wing went missing quite fast.
Yeah. Do you remember the communicator? And when you bought figures, it came with a little chip that you would place on top of the communicator to do additional voice lines.
I do remember that. Yeah.
I remember when I went to the last convention I went to in November. There was a seller that was selling the communicator and every single figure that came with the little chip.
Jesus.
Oh wow!
I was very tempted to start that to buy it all and have a collection of it. I was like,
Who makes the better sandwiches? You know what I mean? Padme or Leia?
Oh, Leia.
Padme. I'm gonna go. I will go Natalie Portman all day long.
She's 14 in this, Gilbert.
Well, she's not 14 in Attack of the Clones, or actually, in Attack of the Clones, or in not Phantom. What's the last one? The Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of the Sith.
Here's my thing. I think that possibly you might be right, Gilbert, that Padme is the one who has the greater potential for making better sandwiches. However, I think with Anakin, she made really short, not very good sandwiches. Like, I don't think Anakin, when he's part of a sandwich making team, knows what he's doing.
No, man.
Whereas Han knows what he's doing.
Also, Anakin doesn't like sandwiches because they have the word sand in there and it gets everywhere.
So, hey, do you want to make a sandwich? What are you talking about?
No! Gilb strikes again. I didn't strike shit. Stop it. We also have an Ice VR in here saying hello. What's good?
Hello.
Welcome.
I find this to be, when I grew up, like, I found it to be the dumbest thing that of all the handmaidens, she chose Padme to clean up R2-D2. It's like, what a bitch. I'm like, you know full well this is the queen.
But it's also because Padme is in disguise at this point, she can't really show special treatment to the actual queen who she's kind of.
I'm just saying, she could have chosen any of those 4 handmaidens there, and she chose the actual fucking queen. Like, maybe it's like on a random basis, like just to, not raise suspicion. But I'm like, God damn it, dude.
Fucking love Captain Panaka.
He's one of the few people who he's got his stuff together. I feel like you can rely on Captain Panaka. There's a lot of people in this you can't.
I didn't realize until later on after watching this as a kid. Did you ever watch Holby City?
No. Yes, a bit. My mum watched it.
That's Rick from Holby City. He's one of the lead character, lead doctors in it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Justice for Chewie. He never got a medal. He got his medal at the end of Rise of Skywalker. Go watch that crappy movie.
I have that on DVD down there somewhere.
I'm sure you do.
Man, I got it for
that ship. Dude, that ship would get hot as fuck in the desert. How shiny that thing is.
That's solid chrome.
That thing would be hot as a motherfucker. Also, what is the hyperdrive leak? There's my question. What fuel do you use to go faster than the speed of light?
Dilithium crystals.
We discussed this last time.
No, we are not going back on this.
Dilithium is not a fucking thing in this universe.
I want to say this is one of the things that I had when I was a kid. It's like the Jedi Knight costume that you could buy with a rubbish little lightsaber. Like the blade was like green foam and you could put it in the top, and it came with a little, I don't know if you can see it at the bottom, a little braid that you hooked onto your ear.
Yeah.
So you got a Padawan braid, you got a lightsaber, the belt. I love how you have a little communicator and the midichlorian fucking scanner.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I went to, my mum had a big birthday party and it was fancy dress. So I went as Phantom Menace Obi-Wan Kenobi. So I had the proper Jedi robes. I had the braid, but the braid tied into your actual hair. So you had an elastic band to tie into your actual hair. I had a lightsaber, but I wasn't allowed to use the lightsaber at the party because adults don't like to be
break
hit
something
or hit someone. I was allowed to take it, but I wasn't allowed to swing it around.
Also, for my non-British people out there, fancy dress means a costume party. A fancy dress party.
Oh, you're too good to be fancy now, are you?
I just don't think a guy showing up to a thing in like a Spider-Man costume and like the other kid has a Superman costume and Peaky over there in his little Jedi is a fancy dress.
Yeah, you're in fancy dress.
I am in fancy dress. I'm in official Jedi robes.
Okay. Poor Jake Lloyd. Poor shitty acting Jake Lloyd.
Yeah, we're sorry.
Wasn't this his only movie role as well?
No. He's in a couple of things. Is he in Liar Liar?
No, that's another kid, but he's in Jingle All the Way.
That's it. Yeah.
Poor fucking Jake Lloyd. I think he did better in that movie, but that's because he had a better director in that movie.
I also had Arnie.
See, this is why I think it's okay to simp for Natalie Portman, because I was Anakin's age when this movie came out. It's like it's nostalgia.
Yeah.
Nostalgia simping.
Yeah. I think we
I
all
was actually I was 5.
for Natalie Portman.
Like I was 5 years old, so I was literally like child Anakin, being like, "One day I'm gonna marry Natalie Portman."
I think you're a little bit younger than Anakin in this. And it looks like
he's like 9 at this point. Yeah, you would have been 8. I would have been 5. I think Peaky, you're the same. Like would have been 5 or 4.
5. I'm a little bit older than you, Gilbert. Remember this.
Oh, that's right. So there you go. Then. Are you an angel? And from that day forward, any creepy thing that kid said was okay. I love these little droids. I would totally have a bunch of them. Just like, hey, go fix my car. Like these things are
kind of convenient.
Straight up, like, and then when you want them to go away, just pop them on the nose. Which I always thought that is their eye, not their nose, but okay.
I can see what he means.
Also, there's somewhere. They're right there. There are T fucking 800s right there.
Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna get into that whole like, oh, the T800s in the Star Wars. No, but that's just like that's a fun little Easter egg for people.
This is one of the things that is unfortunate about this movie is so much of the aliens rely, or that they're so connected to like human stereotypes. It's a bit like
he's like a vaguely Middle Eastern fucking like junk dealer, and no one else will get you at and it's like that I'm like, oh bro, no, why are you doing this?
Who's done the voice of God? Who done the voice of him?
That's a good question. Let's find out. Watto voice. That would be Andy Secombe. Secombe? I don't know idea how to pronounce that, but let's see what else he has done. He was also he was in he's just been Watto. That's literally what the first like 4 things that pop up is him being Watto in the video game and the first 3 movies.
He's another Welshman as well.
See, Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker stuff. So I don't know, man. He was in a Doctor Who.
Of course he was.
Like, yeah, no. You know what's funny is that I think I watched a behind the scenes or like a YouTube video about like all the different. He's just talking into a razor. Like he's talking to like a woman's razor thing that's been painted differently, and then the razor was taken off. That's what the communicator is.
So
I love when prop makers are creative like that.
Right.
Yeah. So Jake Lloyd done Jingle All the Way. Then he went to Episode 1. Then he done the voice of Anakin for the Star Wars Episode 1 Race Game. And then he was in a film called Madison in 2001, and that's when his acting career just went.
Yeah, I think it was probably a good idea to get that kid out of Hollywood. Like, nah. I mean, obviously, Jake Lloyd unfortunately has still suffered a lot because of how a lot of Star Wars fans reacted to it. I feel bad about it, but it's a bit like, do you remember when Shia LaBeouf lost his mind? Like, I was
with the just do it.
Or the bag on his head that said, "I'm not famous anymore."
All that sort of stuff. It was like, I feel bad for you, Shia LaBeouf, because like you're in a bunch of bad movies, and you're not necessarily why they're bad. You just didn't make them any better.
Yeah.
I like Holes. I liked Holes.
I get in bed watching that film a couple of weeks ago. I was like bored scrolling through Disney Plus, and I just saw Holes. I was like, "Yeah, we'll go to Holes." It's a good movie.
The best part of that movie. Oh yeah, she is. Yeah. Best part is the song, like right at the beginning when the bus is coming in.
Digging up holes, digging up holes, digging.
Yeah, no, it's a good stuff.
So I kind of feel similar to like Jake Lloyd. It's like you didn't deserve like the hate you got, Jake, but unfortunately the movie you were in wasn't that great. Again, if there's loads of reasons to like episode 1. If this and all the prequels aren't my whole thing, please guys don't think that I'm ragging on you if you like it. But yeah, like it disappointed a lot of people, and poor old Jake Lloyd took a lot of flack for that, which a 9-year-old does not deserve.
Yeah,
agreed. Like he's just a kid, and like what I'm glad about is that now all the people who were dickheads back in the day are like, you know what? I was kind of an asshole, and he was a kid. I maybe shouldn't have been so hard on him. like most people have pretty much softened on this movie and are like, okay, it was fine for the time.
Yeah, like even Simon Pegg had a go at. He didn't have a go at Jake Lloyd, but he had a go at episode 1.
Oh, he is known for hating on episode 1. He is known for it.
Yeah,
there's like that constant. There's that running gag in Spaced of him hating episode 1.
He screams at a child for trying to buy a Jar Jar Binks toy.
Yeah, and he burns all of his Star Wars stuff.
Jesus Christ. Harrison, are you a YouTube editor or off topic? Sorry, but Harrison, are you a YouTube editor for other content creators?
No, not an editor, really. No, I don't do. I've got my own YouTube channel that I don't really post to very much. That I've got some other stuff on, but no, it's just here on Fulcrum Entertainment.
Anthony Daniels, good old Anthony. He's been like in more Star Wars movies than any of these fuckers.
Well, so's Kenny Baker.
You say who?
Kenny Baker, who played R2. Like up until the sequel trilogy, he was in all of them, weren't he?
That's right. It was always the same guy. Hang on a second. I'll be right back, guys.
I'd say, we all know that it's a tough job being either one of these droids, but I do kind of feel more sorry for Kenny Baker than I do.
Yeah.
Literally just said his name and it's gone out of my head. The guy who plays
Anthony Daniels. I feel sorry for Anthony Daniels when it comes to filming in like Tunisia and like the Tatooine and stuff. Because imagine being in that metal suit.
Oh shit!
Like, it must have been baking.
Oh yeah. No, none of that could have been good.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, in any of these costumes, it must have been absolutely torture.
Well, all right. So Anthony was Anthony Daniels actually in a costume at that point, or was that just like a drone being and then his voice being projected from it, or like voice acting
in that scene?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe.
Like in the following movies, yeah, it's a costume, but right there, I'm like, you could see inside of his head and shit. I'm like, unless that's CGI.
No, yeah, I assume that he's not in a suit there because, if it's CGI as well, you might just replace the entire thing and not have him in a suit. Sure. Hey, Spaced alumnus. Why is my head can't think of names today? I'm losing my mind. Peter Serafinowicz, the voice of Darth Maul.
No.
Yeah.
Peter Serafinowicz done the voice, and Ray Park done the suit acting.
Toad, man Toad from the first X-Men movie.
Do you know the story about Darth Maul?
No, go ahead.
His pierced ear, that was Ray Park's actual pierced ear, and he didn't take it out while shooting the scene.
Oh, yeah.
So they just
went with it.
And it just became canon.
Yeah, now cool. Darth Maul just has a pierced ear from now on, and anything you see him in.
Yeah.
I love this part. So I kind of fucked up there. I need to stop pausing it when I stand up and leave. But yeah, so I kind of fucked up on that one. But yeah, I love how when Qui-Gon, like, he tells, oh, you must have Jedi reflexes. And then he grabs Jar Jar's tongue, showing off Jedi reflexes. And then denies being a Jedi, like, in the exact next breath. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Like, would just... It was like, perhaps I killed a Jedi. It's like, and his mom, and again, to say nothing of Skywalker's mom, who just lets that slide, is like, oh yeah, no, I just let this guy into my house, and you know.
Some vaguely interesting foreshadowing where Anakin does the whole like, no one can kill a Jedi directly to Qui-Gon Jinn.
And Qui-Gon gets killed.
Yeah.
Spoilers in case you haven't watched this movie. I mean, it's only been out for 25 years.
It's 25 years old.
I know. That was the... Thank you. Welcome to the joke, Peaky.
You're a joke.
You know what's a joke? You're a wiener.
Not what your mama said last night.
Do we... Shim? Is it Shim? Whatever her name is.
Shmi.
Shmi.
Shmi. That's it. Shmi.
Shim. Do we actually ever see her on screen again after episode 1? Does she die off screen?
You know, she dies in Anakin's arms in episode 2.
Okay. All right.
Which is like the most fucked up thing for that way to go. It's like he gets all the way back.
You bring it back and you just kick her off immediately.
Yeah, for 1 fucking second, she's just like, I love, and then dies. It's like, what the fuck, man? It's like, damn, George.
Well, it's a paycheck, I guess.
Do you think if Anakin had never gone back to Tatooine and had never like rescued his mum and tried to rescue his mum and then killed all the Sand people, do you reckon if he had never done that, he wouldn't have turned? Because
so,
let's be honest,
like...
that's when her anger fully truly hit him.
So do you mean like if he stayed in the Jedi Temple but just never went back to Tatooine?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, for a minute I thought you might meant as like he just didn't train with the Jedi.
If he just stayed on Naboo, if he instead of going to, like, he had the bad dream on Naboo, instead of doing that, instead of going to Tatooine, if he just stayed and, you know, doinked fucking Padme as he should have, as the fucking council knew he was gonna, like, they sent a 17, 18, whatever. They sent a teenage boy with a 20-year-old girl who wears, like, you see what she wears in that movie.
I mean, they're both 19, I think, in there.
Well, no, she's like 14 at this point.
He's 19 and she's like in his 20s. She's like
she's like 24. So I'm like, dude, they knew what was gonna happen. Like, bro, the Jedi get it on all the time. You knew what was gonna go on.
I feel like it would have made more sense to me if, like, you know, when they get close, like some Jedi like jumps out of a corner and goes, I fucking knew it. This is a trap. This is it, man. I caught you. Like,
all right, Admiral Akbar.
It's like, yeah, no, he goes into Padme's room at night. He's like, there's a Jedi. He's like, what are you doing here? Sit, have a seat. Why are you here, Anakin? Chris Hansen.
I see you brought some drinks. What's that for?
All right, this whole series could have ended if Darth Maul just killed Anakin with his speeder bike before. Yeah, no, if Qui-Gon didn't say Anakin drop, then Anakin dies. The whole fucking movie doesn't happen.
That's also another thing. What would have happened if Obi-Wan didn't kill Maul?
We need to bring back our what if. We need to bring back that what if series. That what if Maul?
So what? Is it like really if Obi-Wan had died?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what if both Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan? Yeah.
You don't know. It would have been interesting.
Then no one trains Anakin. He ends up as an orphan on either Naboo or on Coruscant. Anakin becomes a bounty hunter, and he becomes a Force-sensitive bounty hunter. There we go. I don't know. I'm spitballing.
No, it'd be an interesting idea. Like, I wonder. I suppose it comes down to things like what Palpatine does, because like, it's possible that Maul would have just.
Oh, that's a cool idea. That's a cool. Well, but Palpatine like adopts him or some shit like that. And like just kind of just like starts grooming him to become a fucking Sith, and while he has Maul still doing shit for him.
Yeah, like if Senator Palpatine goes like, there was a young boy who was part of all this, and he lost his entire family, and I've taken him in. And then, like, I think Maul would have been killed by Palpatine. Because, like, it's one of the things that I don't find really interesting in the Darth Plagueis book is that there's this kind of thing of, like, Maul never really is an apprentice to Palpatine. I think he's more like Palpatine's attack dog.
Like a puppet on strings.
Yeah, he trains him and stuff.
Yeah, sorry, Maul's a puppet. Maul's a puppet, and Palpatine's the puppet master type thing.
Well, yeah, and like I don't feel like it's ever Palpatine's intention that that he would take Maul on as like, okay, and now we're going to be the ruler too. I think he was always like, Maul is completely disposable, and I use him because I can get him to attack people. And like in that book, there's a thing with like Maul kind of isn't that great. Like he kind of disappoints Palpatine a bunch. Like he gets stuff done, but he messes up. And I think like Palpatine would probably get hold of Anakin and then like immediately kill Maul.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's like the same thing with Palpatine and Vader. Like Vader is Palpatine's attack dog.
That's true. You're right.
Yeah, and it's I get you're saying, like, although at that point it kind of makes the idea that no one is really Palpatine's like apprentice. He doesn't really want the rule of two. He just wants to be the top Sith always.
Yeah,
he wants to be the rule of one, basically.
Well, it's also that gets a bit like confused when you get things like the Emperor's Hand when you go into the EU, Mara Jade, and like how does she get into? And again, another just sort of like she's like a really good mercenary almost that has force powers.
Mm-hmm. Or like Ventress, like how is that allowed with Dooku? Like it's kind of his apprentice, but also kind of not.
Well, Palpatine more or less tried to put a stop to that by ordering Dooku to kill Ventress.
Yeah, because she was getting too powerful. But at a certain point, he was just like, "Yeah, you could train your own little assassin, but we're gonna kill her off eventually, or maybe she'll replace you." Giving children access to high-speed vehicles and just where is child services on this planet?
They don't exist. It's a slave planet, for God's sake.
But they still, them like they allow the kid, like a kid's a slave, still is allowed to have a vehicle, like a highly dangerous vehicle.
Is there anything in the lore of how Anakin was created?
It does explain, like, no, not really. It kind of only like vaguely talks about it. He was conceived by the midichlorians, is what Qui-Gon says. And like they even say, it's like, who was his father? Oh, there was no father. I can't explain it, but he, she just got pregnant. She is the Virgin Mary, dude.
Yeah. Now that would make the Bible would be so much more interesting if Jesus had like a dark side turn halfway through. wouldn't that be a better book?
No, that's a book I would read.
I would agree, but I'm pretty sure, Harrison, it's been a long time since I've been to church, but I'm pretty sure the Bible is like holy, or like, or at least, the New Testament is written around but Jesus not turning to the dark side.
I know, but wouldn't it be better? Wouldn't it be better if he goes into the desert and he's like, do you know what? This devil guy's got a few good ideas, actually.
Honestly, that's a religion I could join.
And then I don't know who it would be, but someone else has to turn up and like kill him. Like,
Moses.
Well, one of his disciples, Luke, turns up and cuts his arms and legs off.
throws him into a volcano.
Oh, here he goes.
That's the religion I can get hold of.
It's over 20,000. Yeah, see, they're doing the M count. Yeah, see, because you can't call it midichlorians anymore. It has to be the M count. That is our word.
How do we feel about midichlorians here? Because I understand why people were so disappointed with this thing of like, oh, so the Force is just like little like organelles, like sort of microscopic life inside us. rather than magic.
The midichlorians make up everything.
I mean, yeah. So I think that it's, in my mind, there's room in this universe for both science and magic. Like, I think the midichlorians allow like impossible shit to happen, but it's also like, okay, it's also like they're like atoms. They are just exist in everything, you know? Yeah. So I'm okay with that. And I don't blame them for trying to explain like, oh, well, that's why Han can't use the Force, but Luke can, is because he has more midichlorians than, but then now we're getting into Ahsoka, where apparently anyone can just learn to use the Force eventually, you know, because then we got what's her name?
Sabine.
Chick.
No,
Sabine. No. Yeah, now she became a Jedi when she wasn't really supposed to be like Force sensitive before. So it's like, I don't know, man. I feel like it's a stupid thing, but at the same time, it's there. Just I don't know. He had 25 years to get over it. Is all I can really say.
I think Plagueis is interesting, that they do some more interesting things with midichlorians in that, like where he's trying to use the midichlorians to like go, okay, they're in my cells, I can use them to try and keep my cells alive and stuff. That's kind of cool. Like he's like taking this almost scientific approach to using the Force. Kind of down with that.
Chris says, I understand the science of midichlorians. I want to believe that the Force is a natural thing. Anyone can can learn to use them, but not all are open to it. Okay, maybe. Like it does take that's why they also talk about how you have to train people at a younger age, so that way the kids are more like their mind is more open to the training of a Jedi. But it's like it's one of those things, you know, because then we have a bunch of different. Like we have Cal Kestis, who was trained as a Jedi initially, but had to relearn his stuff as an adult. So I'm like, it's not impossible for that to happen. Like Luke Skywalker was trained as an adult. You know,
yeah. I mean, the Cal Kestis thing, that the video game mechanics kind of get in the way of that.
Yeah, Star Killer, fucking. Speaking of video games, Harrison, you heard about the new Assassin's Creed?
Yeah. Are you going to try and bring me into people being like, but there's no black samurai, even though he's based on a real, actual dude?
Yeah, I know. I just wanted to see if you knew about the stupid controversy about that.
And no one's freaking out about the show Shogun. Like it's a thing. We know it's a thing. Also, like, you know, Ghost of Tsushima came out a while back. We have a lot of good samurai games out there. It's fine.
It's good shit. Oh, dude, I just started playing that. It's so good. Here we go.
I do love when you get shots of C-3PO because I love how much of a Jim Henson puppet he is. Like you can really feel the Kermit to him, the way he just like bobs along.
Speaking of the Jim Henson stuff, we do get the unfortunate thing is the Disney Plus version has the most updated like CGI'd one, but in the original like theatrical version of this movie, we got puppet like a Jim Henson puppet fucking Yoda.
Oh yeah,
and it was played by Frank Oz, who was Miss Piggy.
Do love Frank Oz.
That blew my mind when I was a kid. It was like, hey, you know who that? Like, that's Yoda. Well, that's also Miss Piggy. I'm like, what? And then we watched the Muppets right after that. I'm like, oh my god.
He's like half the Muppets. He's Miss Piggy. He's Gonzo. I think he's Cookie Monster. Shit. Definitely.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. Like they just played like him and Jim Henson do so many characters in that show. It's kind of like The Simpsons.
That's cool.
And the announcer here is Greg Proops. Comedian who used to turn up a bunch on, not so much in the American version, but he turned up on Whose Line Is It Anyway quite a lot. Decent guy.
Wait, the dude with the glasses and the curly hair?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, I know exactly who you're talking about. I've seen that dude before. I didn't realize that was him. Holy shit.
That's what this is like fun about Star Wars sometimes. I think partly because so much Star Wars is like filmed in the UK as well. I mean, obviously they go to like Tunisia and deserts and stuff, but they get loads of UK actors. So there's these weird things where you go like, hey, hang on, I've known him for years. Like you were saying, like with someone being from Holby City, PQ, or you know, like in I think it's in Last Jedi when Aid Edmondson from Bottom's in it, and he's like, oh damn, like all these guys are just showing up.
Like Simon Pegg and Daniel Craig are both in Force Awakens.
Yeah. I mean, it's to be fair, the sequel ones, it gets a little bit. How do I put this? it's a bit posery now, you know, like, oh yeah, everyone's in, yeah, Daniel Craig's in now because we're going to put all the celebrities in. But it used to be OG hipster kind of stuff like, hey, hang on, he's in Heartbeat, he's in Home and Away, he's in all these like obscure shows that none of you guys are going to know.
Okay, so I guess the modern version of that now would be Richard Odoye, or yeah, because he's in Mandalorian as one of the bounty hunter droids.
Oh yeah. For my team.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's probably the most obscure one. Because now Matt Berry is in everything. Like that would have been an obscure reference, but he's in every fucking thing now.
To be fair, Richard he's getting in everything now. He's in Soul, and he's the voice of like everything. It's always just him.
That's true. He doesn't really change his voice. He's just like it's there, so you can be like, "Oh, it's that dude." Fucking Sebulba.
Oh, dirty little Doug.
This is the weirdest thing that George Lucas came up with a character or with like a species. Is they walk on their hands and like their hands are their feet.
I kind of like it because like there's not that many like creative aliens in Star Wars. Like you get it more in the extended stuff, the extended universe. And like there's that alien that's in KOTOR, the one that has two heads, and like one of them you can't understand. Like that's a cool idea for an alien. But most Star Wars aliens are just dudes.
So or they're just people with like, you know, Star Trek fucking like makeup on. Like they just got like blue skin and like a little tendril on their head. It's Jabba and a slave girl.
Hey,
and Kit.
Like look at Peter Svenowitz, who does the voice of Darth Maul. Like he's a British comedian.
Is he? I remember him from Shaun of the Dead. He's the roommate.
He's Pete.
Yeah.
Pete. Yeah, he's in because he's in Spaced. He's been friends with those guys for ages. Yeah, but he had his own sketch show in the UK, the Peter Serafinowicz show, with something Butterworth, wasn't it? But
he's been on like Mock the Week. He's been on 8 out of 10 Cats. He's been on 8 out of 10 Cats Does Countdown. Like he's really funny as well. Like his humor is slightly different to other British comedians, but that's what makes him so funny.
He's an incredible impressionist as well. That's why he does a lot of voice work because he's really great.
He's done a lot of voice work for Lego games. He was Kang the Conquering, Lego Marvel Superheroes 2.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
I was really
love this scene.
I was looking at IMDb just now.
Yeah, so I wanted to bring up I'm sorry, go ahead, Harrison.
It's like I know everyone loves Sam Witwer, but I'm slightly annoyed that it isn't just Peter Serafinowicz because I'm like, they could afford Peter Serafinowicz. He's not that expensive.
Yeah, but it's ever since Clone Wars where they cast him as when they did the Return of Maul. Like fans really liked that because they really liked the character of Starkiller, and so there was those two things together. And he ended up. I agree. They should have just gotten the original guy, but you know, nerd's gonna nerd.
Honestly, So have you heard the story between Sam Witwer's Maul voice?
I have not.
He started when he was casted as Maul to prepare for like the voice. He would listen to Peter Svenowitz doing his Maul over and over again and impersonate it, and then slightly change it.
Kenobi.
He would add his own. Yeah, he would start with Peter's, and then he would mold into his own. And his guy, I was like, "Fuck me," because he was on
and everyone loves Sam Witwer. How can you not love Sam Witwer?
Yeah, Sam Witwer is amazing. He was on a podcast with the guy who played Lex Luthor in the Smallville TV show. He's got his own like podcast, and he like interviews other like celebrities and like stuff, and like people in the pop culture world, more or less. And he was interviewing Sam Witwer, and he was asking about his Maul voice and how, and he was like, he also because he'd done the voice of the Sun in the Mortis arc.
Oh, that's right. He also did the Mortis arc. I forgot about that.
And he said, how did you come about doing the voice? He said, well, what I'd done is because the Sun is meant to be the embodiment of the dark side, is he started to talk like during his like recordings. He started to like mimic other Siths as he was talking and start blending in other Sith voices like Palpatine and Maul and everyone else, and kept going like it was just like okay, like what the hell? Like everyone who was like in the recording studio was like, why are you doing your voice like this? He's like, well, he's meant to be the embodiment of the Sith, so he's got all of the Sith channeling through him. He's gonna talk like them.
So, all right. I'm sorry to cut you off, Peaky. I want to ask this before we talk over the whole thing. Would you guys do this if you had the ability to make a pod race? Would you, or a pod racer? Would you do it?
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like
fuck it.
Maybe.
I could try racing cars. I live in a world where car racing exists, and I wouldn't do it. Like no.
Oh hell! I mean, maybe it's a definite maybe. This is like the Formula One of Star Wars, or like the Star Wars universe. I might maybe.
So
until this kind of shit happens.
He's in like the reading room for going with Sam Witwer's in the like the table read for an episode.
Yeah,
and they're talking about the episode where Padme and Shmi meet again, and like. The guy who does the voice of Anakin is like, you should meet my wife, And Sam Witwer sat there and he's like, well, they have met. And everyone looks at him and like, what are you on about? I was like, she fed Padme. Like, she met and fed and had dinner with Padme. They sat in the same room. And everybody's like...
That's right. That's the lore that he corrected Dave Filoni on.
Yeah, like Dave Filoni, he's like Dave Filoni took his hat off apparently and just looked down and like
he's like, I'm a bad Star Wars fan.
The girl who voices Ahsoka just looked at Sam and said, "No one's ever corrected Filoni or like out nerded Filoni."
I mean, it's not a hard thing to out nerd him on. That's a basic Star Wars trivia.
Sam Witwer is like literally like for anybody who wants to go and talk Star Wars to, it's go and talk to Sam Witwer because he would tell you anything and everything you need to know. He is like a Star Wars encyclopedia.
Yeah, just go marry him, Peaky. All right. All right.
Exactly. Yeah.
He stole Peter Serafinowicz' job, and now you're just sitting here jerking him off. How about we look at the pod racing? So
I wanted to, since we're talking about the pod racing, apparently one of these guys, like there is a cutscene. There's a deleted scene in this movie of like it talks about how one of the pod racers was like he's like a 3-time winner or whatever, and his wife and children and like 3 children are there watching him, and like he dies and it shows his wife being like no, and it's like the most horrible thing. I think it's the guy yeah, I think it's the dude who ends up crashing in the cave. Like he's the one who's like, and crashes in the cave.
They should have kept that in.
That's so messed up for George Lucas to even think that's a thing you should put in there. It's like, oh yeah, no, we have this racer here, and his wife and 3 children. She's freshly out of the hospital, just given birth, and it's like, what the fuck, man? There's no insurance for them. She is now a widow with 4 children.
It's fine. She could probably like sell his burnt corpse to like Jabba or something. They'll put it in like a glass case.
Nah, like the oldest one's gonna be sold to Jabba the Hutt.
That might be it. Yeah, it's like, and that family is now they're now just slaves because that's your options on Tatooine.
Pretty much.
Either that, or they can die being unsuccessful moisture farmers.
Makes you wonder, yeah. What else do you do on Tatooine? And like, I imagine there's like 3 jobs. You could sell water, or like be a moisture farmer and sell water. You could be like I don't know, sell bantha meat, and then like maybe you could be a pod racer.
Yeah, I guess you could like raise ear peas or something, like or dewbacks. You could like farm a few animals out there.
I get because it seems like most other people are just sitting in a bar most of the day. I'm like, what do you do all day?
Yeah, I think that a lot of it's probably because it's basically just supposed to be like the town from a few fistful of dollars, isn't it? It's kind of like just whatever you do here, you run a saloon and then you try to not get shot by criminals.
Pretty much.
The book Obi-Wan, or Kenobi rather, I think goes into it, like as the sort of a bit more of like just Tatooine life. But even that's a lot of moisture farmers.
It's just most people who live on Tatooine are just like trying to get water.
Yeah, try not to get murdered by sand raiders.
Or their Jawas like stealing shit from people. Filthy creatures. Yeah, straight up. All right, so yeah, now it seems cool, but then you get that whole like first person thing of like going into rocks and shit. I'm like, that seems like it'd be a bad idea. Like you wouldn't want to do this as a 9-year-old child. It probably would not be a good idea.
Well, I do kind of feel like maybe the only reason he's allowed to do this is because like Smee knows that he has no future. It's just like it's if he dies, at least he didn't live as a slave his entire life.
At least he gets to die saying he did something he wanted to do before he died.
Yeah.
Oh, that's horrible. They are furry under those cloaks. Oh, yeah, that chick says they're a little furry. She dated a Jawa once, and they're a little furry. Oh man, the Force. Use the Force, Anakin, or just like, I don't know.
I got a thing where like I think I just wasn't the right kid for stuff like this. Because when this came out, I was just not that impressed by the pod racing scene, and it's always surprised me as I got older that people really love this whole sequence. But for me, I was like, this was always a boring bit that I wanted to like end as soon as possible. I wanted more fights. Yeah,
this kind of took me back to the speeder bike scene on Endor. Like I think that's why I liked it so much.
That's right. The speeder bikes are much quicker than this whole section.
That's true. They finished that scene a lot quicker, but I enjoyed that scene a lot. So I think that's why I like this. Is that it kind of gave me vibes of that.
Yeah, and I can get that. I think I've never been. It's like I've never been into like any of the Fast and Furious things. Like racing in general is not my vibe.
She did more. Oh, she did more than Data Jawa. Yeah, she did. Oh no, he's gonna die. I love how Sebulba, of all people, Sebulba's the one person who doesn't actually die, even though he crashes his shit. Like, by all accounts, he should absolutely be dead, but he just kind of slides across the ground.
Yes, yeah. Why does he get off so easy?
I don't know. I think it's like I'm not sure what that's about. Maybe he's important somewhere down the line later. Also, I wanted to talk about this. Apparently, the what's his name, the Rodian who hangs out with the young Rodian. Apparently, it's supposed to be Greedo. Another deleted scene where where the dude he accuses Anakin of cheating, and Anakin beats the crap out of him, and they're like, "Come on, Greedo!" Like,
there's a comic book.
I'm sorry.
There's a comic book where Anakin as Darth Vader goes back to Tatooine while he's on the hunt for Padme's body, and his two childhood best friends are there, and Vader tries to leave the planet to distance himself from his past, but they get captured, so he goes in and like decimates the people that have captured them, rescues his two childhood
he saves
best
his friends,
and then he charges into battle on this armored pod racer.
Vader's kind of a badass. But anyway, so what were you going to say, Harrison?
Pod racer.
I can't remember what I was going to say. To be honest, doesn't really matter. We were talking about Anakin. Like, what would he do? I'd be interested to see like an alternate thing where Anakin didn't get involved in any of this, and he just became a really good pod racer. Like he just became the champion of it.
I mean, he could probably become rich and famous becoming a pod racer.
Well, yeah, and like I think he'd have some interesting things where he becomes maybe more of like a sort of Han Solo character, like he works in pod racing to like buy his freedom and his mother's, but like he's not a slave, but he's still kind of owned by Jabba the Hutt. Like maybe Jabba the Hutt like pays for everything, so it's like you race for me, and then he's sort of sent around the galaxy, and then gets caught up in some sort of crime world shenanigans.
Here we go. Here we go. This sad part where he finds out you're freed, but your mom is not.
Yeah.
And she just lets. I mean, it's not that she can do anything about it, but she just lets him go. Like, it's horrible, man.
I mean,
and I get
it's the fact that like he could potentially have a better life away from
Tatooine, and in the universe, being a Jedi is considered to be a bigger honor than being a slave. Obviously, like some people wish for their kid to be taken by the Jedi Order, but it's like, damn, man, it's kind of fucked.
Yeah, I've seen a few things that are like kind of criticizing Qui-Gon for just being like, and you just were okay with that? You let that happen?
Qui-Gon had a choice of who to free, the mom or the kid, and he chose poorly. He did. See, if Qui-Gon had survived, then I don't think Anakin would have fallen to the dark side.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people say. That like, if Qui-Gon had survived the fight with Maul and become to train Anakin would have turned.
Yeah, he probably would have ended up leaving the Jedi Order and married Padme, and everyone would have been hunky-dory. None of that wouldn't. Order 66 wouldn't have happened. No Darth Vader.
Oh, no, Order 66 still would have happened.
All right, fine, but no Darth Vader. Yeah, would have been like Darth Maul still.
It'd be interesting to see what happens, because, like, if Qui-Gon's still around, like, I wonder if things would have gone differently with Dooku, and like whether the Clone Wars wouldn't have quite gotten to the same place, because Qui-Gon, being his apprentice, maybe could have sort of talked Dooku down.
Interesting.
Yeah.
See, what I think would be cool is Darth Obi-Wan.
So the thing is that Dooku still would have left the Order because he was staring down that path way before Qui-Gon died. But it was the tipping point of his apprentice being killed that set that ball fully into motion. But yeah, it's interesting to hear how the Clone Wars would have happened, because would Dooku have joined the Separatists?
So yeah, all right, here's in my mind how it goes. So if, like, let's just say that like both Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan kill Maul, like, done deal with that, they both survive. So Qui-Gon becomes Anakin's master, then Obi-Wan gets to be promoted to Jedi Knight, but in doing so, he ends up being befriending Dooku, and Dooku gets in his head and basically makes him, like, kind of seduces him to the dark side. And then we get dark Obi-Wan instead of evil Anakin, we get evil Obi-Wan. Hey, Bam.
Or could Obi-Wan potentially would have been Ahsoka's master?
Exactly. Or we could have gotten, like, or maybe it would have still been Anakin, but a different Anakin, like, you know what I mean? An Anakin that would have had a father figure rather than a brother figure. Yeah,
that had been trained by Qui-Gon, and maybe wouldn't have been such a reckless idiot that never should have been a general.
That's what I was going to say.
Ever.
Would Anakin still be as reckless as what he was?
Exactly. Having, like, the father figure.
But let's be honest. Don't they go over that in the Clone Wars about Anakin? Like, he's reckless, but the way he's reckless is actually quite clever, because he gets the job done, no less. And that's why that's why he's probably like one of the greatest generals they've got at the time.
But he's not. He's so clearly the dark, because, like, that's the dark side. The dark side is like, I don't care about your rules. I get my stuff done, and that's why I hate Attack of the Clones, because I'm like, this kid is the worst Jedi. He's so bad at being a Jedi, and all of you know it. But you're like, I'll be fine. Nah, he's chosen by that. Yeah. And it's one of the things where, like, I really like the Plagueis book for sort of opening this up. Like, actually, the big issue with all of this is that the Jedi Order is kind of corrupt and don't really care about doing the right thing anymore. And, like, I actually think that possibly the person who might be responsible for everything is possibly Yoda. Because, like, because it's just like, if Yoda did a better job and, like, got the Jedi Order into line the way it should have been, they wouldn't have had, like, I don't think that Palpatine would have had the same opportunities to do what they do.
Like, not getting into the politics and being the mutual party between everything, and
I think that's part of their problem is that they're too neutral. They're like, oh, that's got nothing to do with us. And it's like, but because you're acting like it's got nothing to do with you, you're letting all this stuff that you know shouldn't happen happen. Like, and it's the corruption in the Senate, and Plagueis and Sidious use all of that to go, we're going to bring all this down. And that's why, like the person I agree with the most a lot of these is actually Dooku. Because I'm like, Dooku's one of the only guys who's like, none of this is okay. We should be doing something about this. And like, in some ways, I kind of agree with the Separatists, other than the fact that like half of them are just like greedy bastards.
They're just sick and tired of being taxed by the fucking. they're basically America. That's what the Separatists are. Just sick and tired of being taxed by the fucking Republic.
Dooku never fully fell to the dark side. That's why his eyes aren't yellow.
Yeah,
because he hasn't fully. He just he utilizes the dark side a little bit, where that's how he can produce the force lightning and stuff. It's kind of like Mace Windu. Mace Windu channels the dark side in his fighting. That's why Mace Windu is one of the greatest Jedi fighters, because he uses a lot of dark side tactics when he's fighting.
Yeah, let me see. I know that there's a special like EU style. Answer for what he uses.
Yeah, his specific style, combat style, is more or less dark side.
Yeah, like sometimes I think you're like if Qui-Gon had survived, I feel like maybe Qui-Gon is the person that should have been in charge of like the Jedi Council or something. Like I feel like maybe he could have, because he said he's the one who sees through things.
I've always seen Qui-Gon as more of a grey Jedi than anything.
Yeah, like he's got that kind of Dooku. He's been trained by Dooku, so he has the sort of like moral principles that he has. And like, it's like we were talking last week about the Tales of the Jedi. My favorite one from that is where Dooku and Qui-Gon go and deal with that issue on that Separatist planet or whatever.
Yeah.
And like Dooku's like, I need to kill these guys because they're clearly so wrong. And I like that, I'm like, oh, it's finally someone in this that I agree with. I'm like, yeah, we should do something about this.
So we're keepers of the peace, not soldiers. No. Brandon says Anakin. Yeah, go ahead.
Anakin Skywalker should have been Mandalorian instead of a Jedi. It would have been interesting if he was a foundling. Yeah, and like what he would have become.
I'd watch the crap out of Jake Lloyd being a foundling, trying to be a Jedi, hanging out with Pedro Pascal. Well, maybe not Pedro Pascal, because he would have been, I don't know, like a teenager at this point. But
I suppose, yeah, he could have hung out with Din Djarin, like a young Din. I can't say his name.
Din Djarin.
Din Djarin.
Yeah. Yeah, could have hung out with a young one of him, been trained up with him.
So can we talk about this weird like Oedipal thing that starts up right here? Because he's all like, I miss my mom, and she blankets him and is like, it's okay, Annie, we're in space, and she acts like a mom basically, and then he's like, I love you. And like it's a really weird dynamic that George Lucas really tried to sell us on, and I'm like, it's just.
Unfortunately, I think a lot of men act like that. I think a lot of men kind of like they get taken care of by their mother, and then they want a woman who will do their laundry and cook dinner for them and be their mom that they can also sleep with. Like,
who's also pretty and can sleep with. And I'm like, that's the weirdest thing, dude. And it's like
that's a mummy kink right there.
Some reverse Oedipal shit right there.
I wonder whether part of it.
Long enough. How long was Grogu with Luke? He was there long enough.
No, that's a good point. I don't actually know what the timeline was for that. But,
months. Maybe
I do wonder whether Padme and Anakin's thing is like a weird cultural thing from Naboo. Because obviously, like, Padme's got the thing of like she was made queen when she's like 13. Like, because she's been queen for a bit, I think, by the time we get to Phantom Menace. And in Plagueis, like she's a child, and they're going like, oh yeah, we think we're gonna get her to be elected queen, which is all of it's a bit strange. And I wonder whether like Naboo's just so used to like, oh yeah, we get kids to do everything. So she's like being kind of into a 9-year-old seems fine to me.
I don't know. Yeah. And as far as that, like, let me see here. George Lucas has never been like, he's like, oh yeah, remember what's it called, Temple of Doom. He's never been weird about making kids like, oh yeah, let's make the kid royalty. Let's make the child, the what's it, Maharaja or whatever the hell. So that's just George Lucas for you. He's like, yeah, this is weird cultures. Who are you to judge?
Well, I think it's the fact that like he makes it like this weird thing of they're a monarchy, but they're elected, which means that they're kind of not a monarchy. Well, like because like having a child king makes sense when it's like, oh well, your dad's dead, you have to be king now. But like when it's like, oh, we have to get the whole planet to agree that
you're an elected monarchy. Like that doesn't. Yeah, the later on the guy does say like the governor or whatever of Naboo. He says we're a democracy. The people have decided. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? Your democracy? You're a monarchy. Those are two separate things.
But it's real weird.
A 13-year-old interested in a 9-year-old kind of creepy. Hey man, it's better than a 20-year-old interested in a 9-year-old.
I guess. Like.
At least they're both still minors, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, like kids are gonna be kids. That's all I can say.
To be fair, I will be fair to the movie. It doesn't really, in this movie, say that Padme's actually interested in Anakin. It's more like Anakin's got a crush on. It's like a kid having a crush on his babysitter, which we know that happens. Like.
Yeah. Fine. So and then the next one where it gets like I would say it's not as creepy because at that point he's 19 and she's 24, so it's like they're both legal. Let them do what they're gonna do. But it's still in today's climate, it's like I can't do that.
Hans goes to who wins the Battle Royale Child Edition: Anakin, Kevin from Home Alone, Billy the Kid, or Robin as Batman's sidekick. So I think Billy the Kid was never actually that young. Like he wasn't as young as Anakin.
He was in his 20s, yeah.
Robin,
they just called him possibly. They called Billy the Kid because of he was younger than a lot of the other outlaws and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I'm gonna put my money on Kevin from Home Alone.
Okay, so here's the question there. Do they have their weapons? Like, does Kevin have, like, his house and all his stupid little gadgets that he... All right, well, then I'm going to give it to Robin then, because Robin has fucfucking, like, smoke pellets and batarangs and fucking, like...
He also has, if we're talking, OG Robin, Dick Grayson, then he also has his circus training.
Yeah, and a bow staff. I'm like, if we're talking Tim Drake, he also has a bow. If we're talking Damian Wayne, he has a fucking katana.
I'm saying Kevin. One, because even if they don't have their weapons, Kevin's whole thing is MacGyvering deadly traps out of whatever's around him. And he is the only one out of those. Because if we're talking child Anakin, like this Anakin's, he's skilled. He can build stuff. He can do things. But he ain't a murderer yet. He hasn't slaughtered the Sand People yet. Kevin will use deadly force whenever necessary.
But does Kevin have access to a blowtorch and to a fucking, some nails and some planks? I'm like, I don't know.
It might depend on the playfield, because if you let Kevin loose in like one of the trash piles of Tatooine, like he could find some stuff in there that like could you imagine worse.
Can you imagine Kevin finding a lightsaber?
So that assumes that it's in one of their universes, though. Are they just going to like some like Super Smash Brothers universe where it's just like a blank canvas where they all just kind of exist or are? You know what I'm saying? Like, is it like video game rules?
If it's like that, okay. So if it's like Smash Brothers, I'd say Robin's going to win. Like you say, he's got the agility. He can stay on the platforms. He's not going to fall off like the other guys are. If it's Fortnite, Kevin's going to win because he's going to find one of those houses. He can build stuff in Fortnite and he can set up all sorts of stuff. Probably a similar thing with PUBG. I don't know what other things like. I guess if it's like Battlefront, I think I'd still say Kevin because he's got to find like a crashed AT-AT like on Hoth somewhere and do some evil stuff with it.
Yeah, okay. I mean, maybe I could see that next year's March Madness Battle Royale. Kevin from Home Alone, and watch he makes it all the way to the fucking end. So I find this to be the weirdest thing. Like, in addition to they elected a 14-year-old queen, or 13-year-old queen, whatever, how old she was when she was elected, they also had to find like 6 or 7 people who look vaguely like her to be her handmaidens, to just be her at a moment's notice.
Well, I mean, famously, Saddam Hussein did that. He had all his lookalikes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not that. I think it is legit, like a tactic that royalty have used in history. Is like you just have someone else who looks like you, so that you don't get killed.
That's why a lot of the time it was hard to find Saddam Hussein, because they would shoot or take one of them out, and it would be his lookalike.
Yeah, it's just some poor guy who used to work at a pizzeria.
Padme Amidala equals Saddam Hussein. Fact. Yeah, no, but you do have a point though. I guess that is just a royalty thing to do. But I just think it's funny that they have to have does every queen have to recruit 6 young girls who look again vaguely like her?
I think that's brought up in Plagueis that the reason they did it is because of what Sidious was up to. So as part of his plot to mess with things, he kind of instigated the Trade Federation being angry at people on Naboo. And I think there's that thing of the spice miners who make an assassination attempt on her. So they're she's in danger now. So that's why they start doing the whole, we're going to have lookalikes so that there's someone else to attack. Because Naboo, I think previously had been very peaceful and didn't really do much in the galaxy. Sorry. That's a weird voice to come out of a Gran. You look at that Gran and he's like, we concur with the Trade Federation, yes.
We represent the Lollipop Guild. So later on, here in a second, after she says, she talks about the point of the vote of no confidence or whatever, we have a bunch of vote now, and one of the voices in there is a Wookiee going, I always wonder, and there was a thought I had while watching this previously to watching it here, was I'm like, what if a Wookiee had to have the floor? What would that be like? It's you'd have to sit there for 5-10 minutes listening to just nonsensical guttural sounds.
Yeah, they never show them with the little headphones that they have in the UN, do they?
I don't. Maybe they have a droid that's he says that they have little protocol droids just telling them what's up.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Also, there's a group of aliens in one of those pods that are the alien.
They're right there. We just saw them.
The ETs. Which that's a whole horrifying thing. That means that the ET is in the Star Wars universe, or Star. It's a whole other thing.
Because it means that the ETs when they're in Halloween, when they're in the Halloween bit, he recognizes Yoda.
But that's a whole horrifying thing. Which means that Yoda, or not Yoda, that means the ETs are capable of interdimensional travel in addition to interstellar travel.
Well, that don't even mean interdimensional, because it suggests that we've already got this thing of it could technically be in the same universe as us, but they're in a galaxy that we can't reach, and also it was a long time ago. So the ET that we see might be that could be well after that ET just saw the events of Rise of Skywalker in 1987 or whatever.
Star Wars are not all right. So it turns out the real truth. George Lucas never made Star Wars. They are actual documentaries from the Star Wars universe that he found.
And now we're in Galaxy Quest. Tie it all up together.
Fuck yeah, let's do this. Fucking let's get Tim Allen back. Why do we not have a Galaxy Quest 2, by the way? While we're on that topic.
I do love Galaxy Quest. It's really good. Someone mentioned Galaxy Quest is the 3rd best Star Trek movie.
That's probably true. We need to go back and watch that. At some time, we need to do a watch party for that. That's a good movie.
Yeah, I've not seen that in years.
Joel.
We have seen all historical documents.
Good stuff.
Have you heard the thing about Tony Shalhoub in that?
I have not. What has happened?
So Tony Shalhoub, the actor who played Monk, and he's in that movie. There's a weird thing that you notice where his characters, his character on the fake TV show, his last name is Chen, and there's a weird thing where there's a bit where the aliens are Engineer Chen, and he goes, oh. Like, I think the joke they had in the script was that like it was like, made back in some racist days where they hired a white guy or whatever Tony Shalhoub is to play an Asian dude, and so he just squints the entire time. But there's also another plot that like that the actor's like constantly stoned, and so like part of the reason that the way he is in the movie is because like the character he's playing like smoked a massive doob before they got transported over to that shit.
Speaking of, that was about as subtle as a fucking.
just disappears.
Yeah, and then a big old puff of smoke just comes up. That was subtle.
They're not going to know. How would they know? They're not going to know.
Prove it. Prove what I'm doing down here. Prove that someone else isn't smoking. I don't know. I just think it's YouTube. YouTube doesn't like to see it. Yeah, YouTube like doesn't mind if you do it. They just don't want to see it.
Yeah.
They're like your parents in fucking high school.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I guess I can't say anything about you smoking, but just don't do it in the house. And if I see your butts on the floor, I'm gonna loot it. Nah.
I think one of the things that I think people had a problem with episode 1 with, and I kind of get it, is that it's full of a really good cast, but it's some of the worst performances that those actors have ever given.
Dude.
Like, and I think because they've been told to do it that way, but like we know that Natalie Portman's fantastic. She's been fantastic since Leon. But her being, yes, we shall go and talk to them and do all this. It's like, oh man, this sucks.
Well, that was Keira Knightley, the one in the makeup. But
was that Keira? Oh, okay, fair enough.
But you're absolutely right though. The acting in this is awful, and they got like such great actors that are like tested and true, and they just they lay a huge fart in this movie.
It reminds me of, like, it's one of the things that I'm hoping they'll do better, but like, I like my Warhammer 40,000, and you've got that whole show that Superman's doing. And an issue with Warhammer 40,000 is that the Space Marines are like super cool as an idea, but when you like look into them as like, oh, what are they like as characters? And like, they're monks. So they're kind of the most boring dudes in the galaxy. Like, they're just monks with big guns. And so they go, yes, brother, do you believe in the Emperor? Yes, I do believe in the Emperor, brother. We shall go and fight for the Emperor, brother. And it's kind of what they do with the Jedi in this.
Like, imagine all they're doing when I get what you're saying. They look cool when they're all like chopping through demons and shit, but imagine what they're doing in their off time is like reading the Bible and just praying.
Yeah. They're Mormons if they had the weapons from Gears of War.
Yeah, straight up. And the armor from Halo.
Yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson, man. Like, all the greatest actors. They had Samuel L. Jackson, Natalie Portman, fucking Liam Neeson, and Ewan McGregor, and they all just suck so bad.
Samuel L. Jackson never says motherfucker once. Like, what a waste.
I am tired of these motherfucking Sith on this motherfucking planet. It's like, come on, how hard is that, George?
Yeah, just one little bit.
Would have been great for him to say that in Revenge of the Sith.
This motherfucker needs to die. Something like that.
That bit where he like confronts Palpatine. If just for that one scene, all the dialogue was written by Quentin Tarantino. Like, it was just like just coming into Palpatine. It's like, what do you want? It's like, what language do they speak in what?
Are you threatening me, Master Jedi? You speak English? You speak English on Coruscant? English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
And though I walk through the shadow of the valley.
Fuck, that'd be good shit. He just basically just is Jules.
Yeah, he's just Jules.
And here we go again with the midichlorians.
Oh yeah, we are symbionts.
Symbiont? What's a symbiont? It's a made-up word that George Lucas made because he doesn't understand science.
That's Venom, that's what it is.
Yeah, straight up. Remember, your what is it? He says your perception dictates your reality. It's like the most. That's like the most wise thing that gets said in this entire movie. Dude, okay, go ahead.
Oh, it's one of the issues that you get with like wise characters. It's quite easy to make things that sound wise but don't really mean anything.
It's true. It's just like nothing sayings. So I wanted to say though about Padme but Keira Knight, whatever the fuck, the actor, dude. Every fucking scene, she's in a different costume. My God.
Yeah,
the amount of time it must have taken for like changing costumes for that poor actress.
None of that would have been fun. Like it's one of these I find interesting that you do hear from a lot of these actors. Like, oh no, Star Wars is a horrible job to have. You know, it's like it was much easier when I'm just doing period dramas for the BBC. Like, whereas this is like, oh god, how long do I have to be in makeup for? How early do I have to get up?
Like these guys, they get to be just wear a coat. You know, they get an easy job. But her, like, my God, dude, it must suck. And like how it's like still she has to sit in that costume. Like, I imagine that if she like moves in a little bit, like the dress fucks up, and they're like, "All right, so back to one, everybody." Another fucking PA has to come out there and reset everything.
Joe, go back to actors. The guy, the pilot of this ship. Have you seen Withnail and I, Gilbert?
No.
Ah, you'd like Withnail and I. I was trying to think of who else. Oh, have you seen Wayne's World 2?
Yes.
Yeah. So the pilot of this, he's like the roadie guy, like the stoner roadie guy from Wayne's World 2. The one who's like, you have to go build when you're going to go make your concert. And in Withnail and I, he shows the Camberwell carrot. Named so because it was built in Camberwell and looks like a carrot.
No shit. That's kind of cool, dude. I did not realize that. But that's like so yeah, again with Star Wars using just like kind of well known or like other actors who were already established in the UK, and then for the rest of us Americans we're just like, "Oh, who's that guy? I don't know." Huh.
Yeah. He's in a movie called The Boat That Rocked, which is good. If you avoid the sexual assault bits, but it's good.
I mean, you know.
It's got Nick Frost in it. And, Philip Seymour Hoffman, still missed.
You need to train the boy. No, fuck that. I'd be a horrible trainer. You're definitely going to have him turn to the dark side then.
Gilbert, if you trained someone in like the ways of like being a Jedi, nothing would get done because you'd sit around getting stoned all day.
I feel like that'd be the best way to be a Jedi. Is like if you have a galaxy where you can just sit around just getting high all day, fuck around with your little light your weed with your lightsaber, dude. It's like you can change some of those dials on the lightsabers have the ability to change the length of the blade. So just make it like just like a little one, just have a little like torch right there, dude. Straight up.
You just make the bong sabers from Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Make a fucking a dab rig and then have the nail be a Beskar fucking nail, so that way you can. Come on, you can do that.
Oh, hot knifing with a pair of lightsabers.
Oh, well, maybe not. But let's not go that far. It's like, all right, dude, give me the spoon cooker.
I do kind of love the like we need reinforcements. All right, let's go find the frogmen. Let's go find like the frog guys who the one we know the best is the biggest fuck up in the galaxy. But fine, it's what we've got.
That is one reason why people say Darth Jar Jar is because in an earlier scene when he goes and talks to Keira Knightley, he's all like, "Oh, you think your people are gonna die? Well, Gungans have an army. That's why we fight. That's why we think you don't like us." And then she just sits there and contemplates that for a second, and everyone's like, "That's Darth Jar Jar. He's manipulating her." But it's a good point. He does put that idea in her head to go talk to the Gungans.
I think it'd be really fun to have like I don't know, a show or something that's like Jar Jar Binks kind of Mr. Magooing people to death. He does it a little bit, but like I think we just amped up the violence just a little bit more. It's all accidental, but it's just like just Jar Jar going around accidentally cutting off heads and stuff.
I mean, they had a couple episodes of that in Clone Wars, which I'm not about. I'm really not crazy about the Jar Jar episodes.
Fair enough.
This fucking guy. I love how his whole problem with that, like his whole problem was that he thought that they were like a bunch of snobs that thought they were better than them. And when she says that, hey, we don't think that, he's like, cool, let's be friends. Fucking frogman. And then that shit, though, whatever the hell that is.
I think Brian Blessed just did that.
All right, I will be right back. Give me 1 second.
I don't think there's enough Darth Maul in this movie, really. The bits he's in are really good, but there should be more, right?
Yeah. Darth Maul's got more of my favorite characters from this film. So,
like, he's such an iconic design as well. Like, everyone came out of this movie being like, Darth Maul is cool. We love Darth Maul, and like, I suppose similar to like how like in the sequels, like where we didn't know what was going to happen, but Snoke was kind of cool, and it was sad that they didn't really do anything with Snoke in the end. I feel like the same with Darth Maul. I'm like, I would have loved it if Darth Maul stuck around for at least 2 movies.
Yeah.
As good as the CGI is, there are some moments where you've got like full CGI characters. Like, it's a little janky. Like Boss Nass, like. Well, to be fair, people are still putting out bad stuff these days. I recently watched the Vin Diesel movie Bloodshot. And
that's terrible.
Yeah, it's not a good movie. Because like sometimes, because I work from home, sometimes I'll throw a movie on my phone, like because I'm like sitting writing code and things, and I just want something on in the background, so I haven't got silence. And I've started going through movies, like just whatever's on Netflix, that'll do. And yeah, I thought I've never seen Bloodshot. It won't be good, but I'll put it on. Maybe it'll be better than more fun than I think. And there's that sequence where he's like falling off a building and he's having a fight with someone, and it's so clearly entirely 3D models of Vin Diesel and this other actor, and it looks like a good video game, but it looks like a video game. And Boss Nass does still have some bits like that. I think you can see that like more effort was put into Jar Jar because he's such a key character. But every now and then, the other Gungans is like, ugh.
Hang in there, Peaky. We're almost there. We just got like 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and the movie's over. Just get through this final battle.
Saturdays are a long day for me though, because I have work from 5, and then I'm up all day doing this. Then we have game night until like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning.
This motherfucker with his like not sleeping, burning the candles at both ends, Peaky.
Have you got your sneak, Peaky? Is that not fueling you today?
Not tonight. Not. I had one today.
Ah. I knew I might be a bit tired, so I went for the monster today.
Yeah, I tried. Even with sneak, I only tried to have at least one energy drink a day.
No, probably a good move.
I got a bunch of those crappy G Fuel like packets that you put into water bottles, and I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm not crazy about it. I don't know how you all drink that crap. It's like fake Kool-Aid.
Yeah, sneak is kind of similar, but I don't know. Sneak tastes kind of good. I like it.
Sneak doesn't have any of that weird aftertaste that a lot of those powdered energy drinks do.
I miss the good old days when it was just powdered Gatorade. I miss that. Whatever happened to powdered Gatorade? Still exists.
You guys in the States are way more into powdered drinks than we are. We do liquids that we make into more liquid. So like we don't do Kool-Aid, we do what we call squash, which is like cordial. It's like concentrated fruit juice.
Harrison, have you never had Tang?
No.
Like powdered Tang? Oh my god, it's so good. It's so good.
Oh really?
Yeah, no, that's what the astronauts were drinking. Are you kidding me? It's really good.
We don't really have astronauts.
It's like, we're UK. We don't give a fuck about space. Yeah, but Darth Maul would have been the main villain of George's version of the sequel. Shame we never got that.
Oh.
Well, you know.
That would have been kind of cool.
Yeah, I agree, but I think it's because of like the backlash of the prequels, and then also Disney acquiring the property. So yeah, that was not to be.
Well. But speaking of Darth Maul, we're not too far from possibly. Would you say that Duel of the Fates is the greatest John Williams score?
Yes. Yes.
Binary Sunset. I'm gonna say Binary Sunset is because that will always be iconic. Like Luke looking off into the sunset and dun 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 dun. But this is a close second. Like and it'll always be iconic to have Darth Maul sitting there, bzz, bzz, and like that's corn on the cob. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
I absolutely Gilbert knows how I've given so much love to Duel of the Fates. I love this part.
Like, I kind of agree with you, Gilbert. On like, certainly, I would say that the Duel Sunset, or was it Binary Sunset, probably is the most iconic. You know, maybe the Imperial March, but I think of the one that I would sit and listen to, Duel of the Fates is definitely the one I would choose to actually just sit and listen to.
Yeah, no, it gets pretty badass. So I did kind of like this. Like it was kind of cool to have like a space battle in addition to a lightsaber duel. They were trying to like again capture like feels of the original Star Wars.
I think that they do some stuff well. I don't know. With Anakin in this movie, it reminds me of when I was a kid and I'd watched Transformers. And like the worst bit about Transformers for me was always that there was a child human character alongside the robots. I'm like, I don't care about Spike. Who cares about Spike? I want to see Optimus Prime have a fist fight with Megatron. I want to see robots. And that's kind of what I get in this. Like, I love Obi-Wan. I love Qui-Gon Jinn. I'm a kid and I don't like Anakin Skywalker. So when it's like him saving the day, I'm like, nah, that's not what I want.
Now this is pod racing. No, it is not. It's the farthest thing from pod racing.
I mean, sure, you know, like
ouch time.
So child soldiers. Let's talk about that. Now this is Anakin. This is war. And you're enjoying it. This was cool. Like, this is one of the few things that tried to make like these guys like terrifying, and it kind of worked a little bit. Like, you wouldn't want to you wouldn't want to see this marching towards you.
I agree, and I like the visual design of the battle droids. Like, I remember it was only when I came back and rewatched this when I was a bit older that I realized like how comedy they make the battle droids. Even in this movie, like there's a lot of gags with them. And to be fair, if I go back and watch the originals, the stormtroopers have like little comedy moments. Not as much, but they have some little sort of goofy moments as well. But even some of those, the most iconic were accidents, like the guy who hits his head on the door. I feel like it might be maybe a misstep, or it just didn't work for me. The thing of I'm supposed to be both scared of these things and also think that they're really funny and kind of pathetic.
Yeah, again, I think it's a big part of that was Clone Wars and like other stuff that came later that made them into active jokes.
Oh damn!
Yeah, no, dude, that was a really cool stuff as well. Like, I know that they explained later that it's dark side, whatever, corruption, but I really did like how they made his eyes look all yellow and like fucked up. Oh, and the droidicas. There you go, Harrison.
Master destroyers.
We need to do something, R2.
I was like, seeing that double lightsaber when you was a kid. Oh,
it was really cool.
It was good.
And like, this is really badass because he takes them both on at the same time. It's like, damn, dude, he actually is pretty fucking skilled. And I feel like, all right, so I heard you guys a little while ago talking about, because I still had my headphones on, talking about how Darth Maul isn't in this a whole lot. And I feel like, they were trying to capture that like thing of Darth Vader, of like the less is more, because Darth Vader really isn't in a whole lot of episode 4.
No, you're right. Yeah, you're correct on that.
Yeah.
Hey, I remember this from Lego Star Wars. Quick,
I remember a lot of things from Lego Star Wars.
if you build some blocks over there, you'll like get one of them weird secret pieces.
Yeah, you get one of the mini kit pieces.
I need more. I need to unlock the stud magnet. Like I don't want to go around collecting studs anymore.
Oh god, that was a good game. And then they made like 30 of them, of those Lego Star Wars Lego games in general, honestly.
Yeah. Like I'm old enough to remember that like that studio, Traveller's Tales, that makes those games, used to make other games. To be fair, a lot of them were tie-in games, but I remember I remember playing the Bugs Life game they made. I was well into that.
Yeah,
that's true. I remember that one too. God damn!
You chuck raspberries at people.
Yeah.
Force jump. Let's see. We got Ian Creech in here saying, "I like the trackball rocket hanging in Anakin's room, where he was working with C-3PO. No one will know what I'm talking about, but trackball was the '90s game made by Wham. Oh yeah, it's the little like cone thing that he has. Here, I'll look it up real quick. Because we played trackball. We played a shit ton of that in school when I was a kid. Like our teachers had. Oh wait,
I think I might know what you're talking about.
Yep. Okay. Track scoop.
It looks a bit like a shuttlecock from badminton, like
a shuttlecock. Yeah, kind of. But it's like a cone. So here, let me pull it up real quick. God damn it. Okay, share screen. There we go. It is this thing. So yeah, he has one.
Oh no,
yeah.
I was thinking something different.
Yeah, so no, Anakin has one of those hanging in his back, in the back of his. So yeah, it's for a game called Trackball. I don't know why they called it Trackball, but yeah,
it's like poor man's lacrosse.
Kind of, yes.
Which, to be clear, I've never played lacrosse. I ain't that fancy.
He was the rugby player.
It's not really wasn't really a big thing over here, was it, Harrison?
No, I mean, yeah, we played a lot of football, some rugby, and a bunch of field hockey. Oh, rounders. Every now and then netball, which I'll admit I'd say basketball's better, but we played netball.
Touch rugby.
Touch rugby. We had touch football, or we had like flag football, which was American football, hand egg. That flag hand egg, which no one's gonna say that. Who's gonna take the time to say all that shit?
I don't know. We'll just come up with a different name then. Come up with your own name.
No, because you kick the ball with your foot one time during the game. We call it football. And you run or something. I don't know why we call that football. It's a stupid game anyway. Should just call it pigskin. There we go.
I don't know why I always thought the little grappling hook thing there was really cool.
Yeah,
I think I might need to change my ringtone to Duel of the Fates instead of the War of the Worlds. It's literally like I went out after work. I went shopping, and my mum rang me to see whereabouts I was. So we split up in the shop. So I said, "Oh, I'm upstairs," and my phone just went dun dun dun. Dun, dun, dun. I was like, "Oh, that's me."
Yeah, no. See, that's funny, but my dad, I used to have one for my dad, a ringtone that was the Imperial March. Every time I did, dun 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 dun.
I had a friend who they got married. When my friend got married, his bride walked down the aisle to the Imperial March.
That's awesome.
My mum's ringtone for me, it's a custom.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's careful, your son is calling. He may want money.
This is funny. I think I might have told you this guy's my story, or this story. Might have told you guys this story before. My brother, when he got married, he made the comment on his wedding day, like that Voyager, Star Trek Voyager, is the worst Star Trek of all time. And his wife, who loves Star Trek Voyager, told the DJ to play the Voyager song when they say "I do" and they walk down the aisle. So he's sitting there, like having just been, I now pronounce you man and wife, and we hear, bam, 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 and he's like, what the fuck? And he's like, oh my God. He was caught so off guard. It was the greatest day of my, like, to watch that, it was the greatest thing I ever saw. Poor Jar Jar.
Yeah.
He's an idiot. I do.
Which I love this, how he just like inadvertently like destroys the tanks and shit. Like he's that guy in Helldivers who just like calls down the 500 milligram or kilogram bomb and accidentally kills everyone.
Well, this thing is like, I feel like I don't blame Boss Nass for kicking Jar Jar out. I feel like Jar Jar probably deserved it.
Probably, I mean, yeah. Yeah, he should have just been killed. He should have been killed right there, but no. Like, we've all heard that, or well, maybe not all this, but it's very famously not Darth Ball, what's his name? George Lucas. He did a interview where he talked about Jar Jar and how he would be like the most important, like integral to the story. And I don't know if he was being serious or being like a troll, because like he like straight face. He's like, oh yeah, no, Jar Jar's going to be a very important character later on. And I'm like, how?
I don't know. I feel like Jar Jar maybe is important, like that theory that comes up in Spaced about how the gunner on the Star Destroyer in Episode 4 is like the most integral character in all of Star Wars, because if he just shot that escape pod, like none of the story would have happened. Like Jar Jar's kind of like that.
Hold your fire. There's no life forms. Must have short-circuited. So shoot it anyway.
In a world where we have lots of droids, we don't think about the possibility of what if there are droids on there?
Yeah, or like even if there's not there's no life forms, like you don't think about like what if someone's cloaking themselves, or what if there's like a malfunction on your scanner? Just shoot the damn thing.
Even just like the USB stick with all the plans on are in there.
Straight up, man. She must have hidden the plans in the escape pod. All the more reason to have shot it. Oh, Darth Maul, sitting there all scary looking.
I do love this, like and this is another one that there's endless clips of Sam Witwer talking about this whole scene, about like the difference between Maul and Qui-Gon, how Qui-Gon takes the time to meditate and center himself, whereas like the thing of Maul pacing back and forth like a tiger is really effective.
Mm. And it's like speaks to exactly how they use the, like, he's calming his mind and like focusing on what is going on. Maul is like, I'm just gonna fucking kill you.
Yeah, and I can't wait. Like, but
I think it shows how much Maul is more or less like a predator at this point.
And it's one of the things that I think the Plagueis book I love because, like I say, it comes across the thing of like Maul is like this dog that's finally been let out of its cage. Like he's an attack dog, and that's all he knows, and he's just waiting for just someone to let him off that leash, and he's finally been let off.
Also, you see a brief moment there, like when Qui-Gon gets killed, and you see the hatred in Obi-Wan. But then he just suddenly, like, as the camera pans over Obi-Wan's face, you see him calm himself down slightly. It's like he knows he can't go into this full of anger.
Fuck that, he totally can. That's what Luke did, and he beat Vader.
It's one of the things where, like, sometimes I think I might go back and give the Obi-Wan Kenobi show a rewatch to sort of refresh myself on how I feel about it, because there are moments in it that I like, and there are moments in it that I really don't. But I feel like Obi-Wan is a really cool character to play with, and to see what this guy's like. He's very integral. We meet him when he's so young, and he has to take on a lot of responsibility straight away. And like that moment at the end of Obi Kenobi, whatever the show's called,
Obi Kenobi.
Shit. Obi Bakana Boba. Spoilers for it, but I'm sorry, guys. That's what we do here. But like that bit where he goes all Earthbender on them and he's just like raining rocks down on Vader. I love. It's a very like triumphant moment for Obi-Wan Kenobi. But I do remember the rest of the show not being that fun.
Yeah, there was a lot. Like they focused, I think, a little too heavily on the him and Leia thing of it. They should have focused a little more on just Obi-Wan.
There's that guy who's like he's making some like shorts on YouTube of like Force ghosts talking to each other, like watching the movies. And there's, it's like it's that scene where they've got the gate that they have to get past, and like Qui-Gon's like, why didn't you just walk around it, man? You could have just done that. And then like those other stormtroopers turn up, was like, you just killed 6 of them already. Why are these guys a problem?
Oh man, dude, that is like a fear. That is a fear of mine that I'd be hanging off of something that's like about to fall to my death.
Oh yeah, I ain't getting out of
that. Yeah, no, that shit where he's just like, I know he uses the Force, but like the amount of strength you need to have to like pull yourself out of that and like throw yourself up. Oh.
The Cenobite.
Gods to some, demons to others, or angels to some,
demons to others.
It's like, well, we didn't hit it. Why not? It's like, I love how they're just like all surprised about it blowing up. Like, we didn't destroy it from the end. Why not? Why didn't one of you think about that?
It's one of those things where like I don't think it necessarily makes for a great movie, but I do, having seen more extended stuff, I appreciate the thing of like Naboo is not actually ready for this war at all. Like Naboo isn't like these fighter pilots. They're as trained as they can be, but they're not like fighters from like say the Republic or something where they really know what they're doing, or like the clones. They're kind of brand new at this. Like the ships are like pretty new as well. So it does help to explain a bit of like how come a kid got to do what you guys couldn't manage.
Yeah, because he's actually like a man that's a more trained pilot than they are. Because he's actually been messing around with like planes and shit since he was a kid.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Do it. Dun,
as much as I love the Duel of the Fates, I appreciate that it all comes down a bit here for like the tension of this scene.
Fuck! It sucks to be you, Maul.
And then
yeah, and then he'll be on some weird random planet. Which, how did he get there with half a body? Who knows? Who cares? All we know is that Maul is back with like a spider body, and then Grievous legs, and then normal legs somehow.
It's the like maybe like the Devil's Anus from Thor Ragnarok's down there.
Yeah, that's a good point. Promise me you'll train the boy. Very awkward touching of the lips to like face. And...
That was kind of creepy, Master. What was that about?
It's like, I'm dying. Don't. It's like, shh, I'm dying. And then it's like, again, man, just like real awkward. I get it. Whatever. Like it's George Lucas's weird direction, but And finally, the Republic fucking shows up, gets their head out of their ass.
Oh, what? We should have been doing something about this? Oh, well, I didn't know anything about it.
I was like, oh, well, how horrible.
That's not how any of this would go. Like as we've seen, this guy, like, there would be footage on the galactic YouTube of Newt Gunray being hung in public. Like that's what happens after stuff like this.
True. Like, he'd be hung in the public square with everyone to see.
Yeah, this is like, nah, we're done now.
I feel all right. So these are like Imperial or Senate guards. I feel like these guys would be the most inefficient guards because like look at their helmets, look at like their weird like cloaks. It's like, dude, you would not be good soldiers at all.
I don't think they're there to obviously like for a fighting thing. It's more of a statement type thing.
It's like, oh, look how rich I am. Look at my fancy guards with their weird little like mohawk helmets.
I mean, they're literally like the Royal Guard from like Buckingham Palace, aren't they? You know, with the bear skins and stuff. That's kind of their vibe.
Sitting there with the halberds and shit.
But to be fair, like those guys will mess you up. Like if you get in their way, they've stomped on kids.
If you touch them, they'll hit you. I've seen that shit where they will smack the shit out of you if you try to fuck with them.
They're not allowed to like move from like their path, or if they're like on a set path, they're not allowed to like
unless someone touches them, in which case that's considered like I think it's considered like an attack or like the point is they're allowed to like defend themselves from an assault. So don't touch them basically because they will fucking get rough with you, especially if they're having a bad day.
Not every single one of them, but quite a few of them. Their rifles are loaded.
I'm sure they are. I'm like, at the end of the day, they are guards to the fucking queen or king at this point. So I'm like, I'm sure that it's like if someone were to try to actually shoot up the place, they would spring into action.
Oh, would the military trained? There's
exactly. They are still Royal Marines or Royal Army or whatever.
There's a part of the military training where you can choose if you want to go into the guardsmen. And it's like completely separate training after that.
Well, yeah, I mean, at a certain point, you have to. I think it's like they train you in a lot of drill shit like that. You have to be able to march and again keep your bearing, keep your composure. Like even when people are fucking with you.
Fun fact: the singer James Blunt, who sang "You're Beautiful" and stuff like that, he was a Royal Guardsman.
Huh. That must have been boring as shit.
Yeah, might have been better if you'd stayed quiet.
Wow. Why is that?
Just because his songs aren't very good.
It's funny, huh?
He owns a pub now.
Oh. Now he can suck at serving drinks.
I've seen interviews with him. He's a nice dude. I just don't like his music.
He's a really genuine, down-to-earth guy. Yeah, he runs a pub and he's quite often behind the bar serving people as well in his pub.
Look at Jake Love with that short ass hair. So that's really great and all that they have it's like showing peace between the Gungans and the Naboo people and everything. But I'm like, again, you guys take this as a lesson. You need an army. Fish and frogmen are not going to cut it next time. Instead, what do they give them? They give them this weird like plasma ball.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about.
One of those. This is like that toy, dude. I don't know what the hell this is supposed to be, but whatever.
Maybe this is all an allegory for like buying land from Native Americans. Like
they gave them beads.
And now they own that whole underwater city. Like that's going to turn into like Vegas.
I mean, I could see it. I could definitely see it. All right, guys. So yeah, there we go. That was episode 1. It's a long 2 hours, but we got through it, and it seems like we had a lot of people like in the chat and enjoying it and watching with us. So yeah, I want to say thank you to Brandon, to Chris, Drennan, Hans. Let's see who else was in here. We had Daniel Worrell, and also I want to say thank you to Peaky, who is not on screen because he's a fucking bitch. There he is. Now he's back. Fucking goddamn Peaky. Get on screen. Get your shit together. Get all your shit, put it in a bag, and get it together. And if you have to go take it down to the shit store, take it down to the shit store and sell it, but get it together. Casual Rick and Morty reference. All right, guys. So I want to also say thank you to Harrison for being here with us. So how does this movie hold up after 25 years?
It's fine.
It's fine. It's good.
It's got some really nice moments that I think really elevate it, and definitely, you know, if you're really a big fan of all of the Star Wars lore and everything, it's a very important story that, you know, impacts everything.
Agreed. It's good stuff. Go
It's,
check it out. If you haven't seen it yet,
I think
what the hell?
I think a lot of it is especially for us, it's the nostalgia. We grew up with this trilogy.
Yeah, this was our Star Wars.
Is like I know we watched the original trilogy, but yeah, like Gilbert said, this was our Star Wars. This is where it began for us, really.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's still fun. We mentioned it all throughout the episode. It's sad that Jake Lloyd got bullied out of it. It's it's sad that all the really great actors that they had were made to do really shitty performances. But at Star, think of it like this: at least it's not as bad as what came after. Like could have been The Last Jedi. Anyway, so yeah, guys, I think that's gonna be it for us. I'm gonna say thank you to Harrison. You have a new audiobook that you just released, new part. You want to talk about that real quick?
Yeah, part 2 of Resident Evil: The Umbrella Conspiracy is out today. Came out yesterday. It's 2 hours long, so it's a nice bumper episode for you. Go and check it out. Enjoy some more nostalgic 90s goodness with 1998 Resident Evil 1, but as a book.
Very nice. And yeah, go check that out. And a lot more people have been checking out those Resident Evil books. I noticed a lot of people have been like, "Hey, do you have City of the Dead?" I'm like, "Yes, we do."
We definitely
and
do.
Peaky, what do you got to talk about? Talk about your channel, motherfucker. No.
Yeah, still carrying on with our Pokemon Heart Gold playthrough on the channel. I released part 3 on Wednesday, which was us traveling to Violet City, ready for our first gym battle, and going into Sprout Tower. And I also released another visceral. We also released another. Shut the fuck up. We also released another visceral cleanup detail part yesterday. That was the last part that we've got in the backlogs so far.
Nice.
I'm sure we're going to be. I want to go back and check out some more cleanup detail because it's really funny. I love playing that game. But we've got more stick fight coming out. I need to get the other 2 parts that I've got already recorded. Like, I need to sit down and edit them and get them done. So that's my job for tomorrow. And we're recording more tonight as well.
Nice.
I said last week about my Minecraft series. I have 3 hours of footage. That's not only my perspective, but it's also Gilbert's perspective and another member of the game night crew.
He has 3 1 hour. Yeah, he has 3 1 hour footage or videos.
Yeah, I got 3 1 hour captures that I need to edit down into a 30 to 40 minute video. If it's going to be longer, then it'll be split into 2 parts. But yeah, it's going to take. I'm starting that Monday, so I reckon it's going to take me all week to do because of how much I need to cut out and edit in and splice together and stuff. So I'm really excited to do that because it's something new for me to learn how to do. But that will be coming. So keep an eye out on my channel. Follow me on Twitter because that's when I post when a new video is out as well. So that's probably the best 2 places to go. And yeah, at the moment, that is it.
All right, we'll go check out Peaky's channel. It's right here in the link in the description or in the chat. And then just want to say what's up to Tim real quick. He says Acolyte is in 2 weeks, and we will definitely be reviewing that 1 week at a time. It's going to be, we are finally reached it. Like, it's funny. I mean, there was Bad Batch and there was Tales of the Empire, but those were kind of meh. Like, so it's going to be nice to be able to go back to a new Star Wars project and be able to be like, oh, this was good. And then have some asshole jump in there and be like, this was shit. Looking at you, Hans. I'm kidding. This was garbage by Disney. The death of Star Wars. Blah, 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 blah. Sick and tired of that shit. Nah, but anyway, so I want to say thank you guys all for being here. Thank you for watching the Fulcrum Entertainment Podcast. We couldn't do this without you. Thank you for watching the listening to the audiobooks, checking out the audio, comics and all the other stuff that we do on this channel. And look out for more because I'm finally going to be finishing up part 6 of Hard Contact and trying to get that out as soon as possible. And Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we got other stuff coming down the pipe, so be looking out for it. And until next time, I have been Gilbert.
I have been Harry.
I've been Peaky.
Took you long enough. And I have been Gilbert. And this has been the Fulcrum Entertainment Podcast. Thank you guys all for watching. We will see you all next week where we will be talking about... Shit, what are we doing next week?
X-Men.
X-Men, that's right. X-Men 6 through 10.
X-Men 97.
Yeah, episodes 6 through 10. So we'll be doing that. And then we'll start in the Acolyte the week after. There we go. All right, I got to get the fuck out of here. Later, guys.
Bye.